Good morning, this is Charlotte Pierce, or good afternoon, depending on where in the world you are, or good evening if you are in Nepal. You are listening to the Peeragogy Accelerator. We have a special guest. We're starting an accelerator for the project that Sagarika Bhatta is pursuing in her graduate studies in Kathmandu. And we have Doug Breitbart here with us as well. He's a longtime Peeragogy handbook editor and contributor, and Peeragog instigator, perpetrator, what do you call it? Catalyst, yes. But Sagarika, why don't you tell us a little bit about just what you're studying and what you were interested in doing with the Peeragogy Accelerator.
Hello everyone, I'm Sagarika Bhatta from Kathmandu, Nepal. I'm a master's student and I have been doing my research on indigenous traditional knowledge in agriculture practice to combat climate change, and this is also one of my thesis for my master's. So I'm here to present my research in Peeragogy Hangout so that it will help to explore myself and my knowledge that I gained during my master's and my research in this month, within this month.
I was just going to ask you, do you have any photos or anything you'd like to show, or do you want me to put up a website?
For?
Should I show a website? I can show a website on the screen if you'd like to demonstrate anything.
Yeah. Not website, but a Facebook page. It has.
Okay, I think I've got that. Go ahead and do you want to talk a little bit about what school you go to and about other activities you're involved in Nepal?
Yeah. I'm currently studying in SCIM's School of Environmental Science and Management. So, and I've been involved from last 5 to 6 months in a campaign called PowerShift Nepal, which has been working. PowerShift Nepal, which has been working against climate change with youth, creating many activities, awareing people, awareing mass. Actually, PowerShift is PowerShift was first established by 350.org, which is American organization, I guess. So they have been working in different countries. So PowerShift Nepal is also one of the part of those campaigns. So during this campaign, we had a team who is actually working now with me in this research. So it's just been about a month. We did research on 3 climatic zones of Nepal in mid-western development region of Nepal. Are you listening?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I cannot quite understand what these organizations are. Can you just slow down a little bit?
Yeah. So the research is about indigenous traditional knowledge which has been practiced in Tarai, hill and mountains. Since Nepal is a geographical diverse country, and you'll find different climates and diversity in species and everything in every 50 to 100 meters altitude. So you can
all 3 of those exist at all these different altitudes, or
yes.
Is it they do? Wow.
Yeah. So you'll find the landscape from 60-meter altitude above sea level to the highest peak in the world, 8,848 meters over here. So while moving from Tarai to mountain, you'll find different climatic zones, different kind of spaces, different kind of landscapes, and different kind of culture as well. So our main objective was to identify how climate change has been affecting these three geographic regions, and how the indigenous communities have been adapting, because Nepal is a less developed country and
It is what?
used in to a less developed country. Nepal comes under less developed countries.
The what block? Do you understand, Doug?
Can you spell it, because it's not a familiar sort of national grouping that I'm familiar with.
Lista block?
No, I'm saying list. LEAST, list developed country.
Least
Yes.
developed.
Least developed. Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. It is ranked under least developed countries.
Gotcha.
Right.
So, yeah. Very less technologies have been used, and it is not. So Nepal cannot, mitigate climate change. Rather, it can just adapt to the climate change. So I think indigenous traditional knowledge, promoting it is one of the best way for a country like Nepal. And since about 63% of people in Nepal depend still on agriculture for their livelihood. So while talking about the research, uh, we went to the three places starting from Tarai. Since Nepal has very difficult topology and it is very difficult for development and also for agriculture practice, but you can find agriculture practice from Tarai to the even in the altitude above 3,000 meters.
Oh, so Tarai, that's what you're talking about there. Yeah.
Yeah.
In this context, the combating climate change is really about is it really about combating the impacts of climate change that these territories don't have any control over? It's happening. In other words, it's not on the contributive side to climate change, it's on the consequences side of climate change.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ovia. Actually, Nepal only contributes about 0.025% of greenhouse gases, but it comes under fourth vulnerable to climate change in the world.
Understood.
Yeah, so we have mountain range. Nepal is a mountainous country. About 3.6% of Nepal is covered with glaciers, and climate here is mainly influenced by mountains and South Asian monsoon. So climate change is directly affecting the mountains and climate, and the people living in mountain area, also downstream areas.
And these are probably very delicate ecosystems, I would assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And in recent, I would say 3, 4, 5 years maybe, you can, if you go and talk to people around rural area or mountain area, then they will just tell you the changes in the climate and hazard that has been appearing recently. Like they will say they'll say the rainfall, intensity of rainfall, and they'll talk about the flood that has been occurring. They'll talk about the landslide, which would not have taken so much previously.
So there's a lot of testimonial evidence of the impacts of climate change. Listen, I unfortunately I've got to hop, but I will pick this up and view it.
Yeah, I think
asynchronously.
I wanted to talk to Sagarika about having a series maybe of sessions, and then I know there are other people who would like to be involved but may not be able to come today. So.
Okay, well I'm going to hop off, but Sagarika, great meeting you, and I look forward to hearing the rest after.
Yeah, Doug's done quite a bit of work on environmental issues as well.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Doug. So yeah, I was putting up your blog. Is that a good site to?
Yeah, that's a good say.
So you have you're in a master's program, is that correct?
Yes, I am in a master's program and about to complete.
About to complete it. And what is the next step with this project?
Actually, our aim was to document as many places and as many indigenous communities as we could. So this time we got chance to document 3 places. So we are looking forward to document more places and collaborating with more organizations which would be interested to help us.
Mm-hmm. And so in what I thought was fascinating about this was your use of the knowledge of the indigenous communities. So it seems like that recognizing that they have these practices that could help deal with
Yeah.
this issue, and that also gets them invested in
Uh-huh.
making a change, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to the different places over here, um, at this point of the time, people would just talk about the changes that is happening, the effect, the impact that is taking place. So I think this is the right point to document, to explore the knowledge we have, because those knowledge have been helping to adapt the changes which has been since many, because climate change is happening for many years, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So
Yeah.
they have been adapting to the changes, but people, what is happening is people are getting many facilities, and they think that the facilities we get are more good to adapt than the knowledge we have.
The
So they
more
are
the
trying to see.
facilities are, I don't quite understand what you mean by that.
I mean, the technologies, new technologies, when they get the new technologies, they think that the knowledge they have uh, is they the knowledge they have is not that important than the modern technologies, or that will not help than the modern technologies, while the fact is that the indigenous technologies are more helping to adapt the changes.
Mm-hmm. They're more able
So
to address the changes.
yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And it is more sustainable as well in
Mm-hmm.
long term, and it is more effective as well to the environment. As talking about, it is eco-friendly, helping to adapt climate change.
So you'll be writing this up in a report, or a thesis, or is this your final
Yeah, it
project?
will be a report.
Mm-hmm.
It
Mm-hmm.
will come as a report.
And for people who might be watching or around the world, what can they do now? How can they help you or interact with your project?
For future,
Mm-hmm.
the
Can
they
they
can
contact you?
collaborate with us. Yeah, they can contact me, because we have been looking to explore more places, explore more knowledge. So I think this is very important thing for Nepal, and also the countries which have similar climatic patterns.
Patterns, yes. Uh-huh. And how can people contact you?
And
Is
they can contact me by mail address. It's sagarikab537@gmail.com.
Saga
SAGARIKB537 @ gmail.com.
at gmail.com. Okay.
Yes.
I put that in the event page so that people can get in touch with you directly. But so in the future, if we did some more accelerators sessions, would you want people to come who are involved in your region, or just have expertise in in climate change, or does it matter? What is your, what sort of people should we invite?
It's any kind of people, because everyone should have knowledge, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone can come and join.
Okay. And do you have photos of these or videos of the places where you've gone and
Yeah,
interviews
we
with
are
people?
even making a documentary about this research. We are in the process of making documentary, and I'm sharing you a page as well. Just a minute.
Okay. Because I think that would really demonstrate what you're talking about. I mean, you could go through what the process is when you go to visit one of these places, and talking with people to demonstrate how they're giving you the knowledge of their indigenous practices.
Yeah, I can give you an example of the indigenous community in Tarai region of Bardia, right, Nepal. So what they do is in that place for storing the seeds for next year to cultivate,
Mm-hmm.
to protect the seeds from pest attack. They just mix it with, do you know neem?
I don't know.
It's
In
an
neem?
plant. I don't know what you call.
Oh, is it like? Is it like?
It has bitter leaves.
Yeah,
Bitter leaves.
it's oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, neem.
It
They
has
mix it with neem.
lots of moisture in its leaves. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They mix it with neem and urine of cow, which is
Mm-hmm.
antibacterial,
Mm-hmm.
and also with the assays, and store it so that pests would not attack.
Wow. Is that
That is one
really
of the
effective?
yeah yeah, that is effective, and they have still been doing so. So another indigenous practice for agriculture is they make the manure themselves rather than they use chemical fertilizer. The manure which has been prepared from animal dung and litters, that is more adaptive to the climate change in the way, because it helps to it helps to make the soil more loose, for
Mm-hmm.
increases soil fertility, and
Mm-hmm.
also it helps it needs very less water if you use manure which has been prepared from animal dung than compared to the chemical fertilizer.
Yeah, that's true here too. It's just the efficiency of putting chemical fertilizers on has sort of taken over the practice of doing things in a more
Because
sustainable.
people have been experiencing intense rainfall or no rainfall during that time. I think those thing is very good for adaptation.
Mm-hmm. So indigenous practices. Well, would you like to do this on a regular basis, or we can sort of reach out to some of the people who weren't able to come today, and then you'll have a record of the sessions that we put together on YouTube. So if you'd like to do
Yeah,
that,
we can have a session,
hmm
a
we could maybe
series.
we could maybe do 4 sessions or something. But
Yeah.
if anybody that you know or work with wants to come on, you can just
No,
give
I had one friend. He was about to come. I don't know where did he go. He was online. Just
Well, maybe we can start a little bit earlier, so like a half an hour beforehand, and we can get everybody on that wants to be. And I think that would be really, uh, it would be a great thing to have more sharing of
yeah,
people. Yeah.
yeah.
So good. And you can also post on the event page. You can also post photos. There's right below the link.
I
Um,
just shared a link with you.
yes, I put that on the
Did
event
you get that?
page. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
went
the
ahead and put
page
that on.
that we have been promoting the indigenous. You can see that page.
Yeah, if you put it on the event page, then everyone who's come to the event page to listen or watch can see those links as well. So I put that on there. But let's meet up again next week if you'd like to keep doing this. We could meet up again on Wednesday, the
Wednesday.
12th, I guess, is it? Yeah. Would that be work for you?
12th, okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
and then
sure.
so we'll make it for 10, but we'll get online at 9, and we can get your lower third.
Yeah, I don't know why is it not working. It's
Wait,
on actually.
Let me end the broadcast and we will set that up for next week. So if everybody wants to join, who's watching wants to join next week at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, U.S. Eastern Time, we will continue the discussion on the environmental sustainable practices to combat climate change in Nepal with Sagarika Bhatta. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next week at 10 a.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday, the 12th. Thanks.